Hi, and welcome back to the Odd Shopper YouTube channel. I'm Isaiah, broadcasting from Nashville, and I'm here to break down this weekend's NASCAR race at Daytona. It's the biggest race of the year, the Daytona 500, and that means it's time for us to make some money. So we're going to be talking a little bit about NASCAR race. We're going to talk a little bit about DraftKings as well. They're having an awesome promotion. If you bet $5, you get $150 back in bonus bets. And then we're going to talk about how you can get these picks that I'm about to share with you a little bit early via Discord with our Odd Shopper Insider Access program. Great. So let's start with the Daytona 500. It's a super speedway race, which means that it's one of the tracks where drafting plays a massive role. There are two other tracks on the circuit now where they have drafting situations like this. There's Atlanta and there's Talladega. And Atlanta only became a drafting track last year. They only started using the super speedway package that lends itself to drafting in last season. So those are our two comparators in addition to Daytona. The main thing to know with Daytona is that Fords have dominated here lately. Both dual races were won by Fords yesterday. Joey Logano and Eric Almirola won their dual races. And of the last 10 Daytona races, including the dual races, Fords have won every single one except for Austin Dillon, a Chevrolet driver. He won once. So those are the only real factors at play here. I think it's going to be a Ford that wins the race. But before we get into the picks, let's talk about DraftKings. So you bet $5, you win $150 in bonus bets if your money line wager wins. So that means that you're going to want to pick. Obviously, you can't bet NASCAR for this because it's not a money line; it's an outright. That means you're going to want to find a big favorite in a hockey or a college basketball game. Tonight, Kent State is minus 2,500 versus Eastern Michigan in college basketball. That seems like a lock. Throw $5 on that game, get your 150 back in bonus bets right after Kent State wins that one. So pretty easy bet. Head over to DraftKings to take advantage of this awesome deal. All right, so our first pick is going to be Ryan Blaney. I talked a lot about Fords dominating at Daytona lately, and Ryan Blaney, Ford driver for Team Penske, is in a great position to win this race. We all know that Blaney couldn't win last year, but that didn't mean he didn't come close. He almost won at Phoenix before losing late. He almost won at the fall Phoenix race too, but he deferred to his teammate Joey Logano, who was racing for a championship. And he was running up front at several super speedway races, but he just couldn't bring them home. We're getting him at 12-1 odds this week, which is a pretty good price. He's one of the favorites. You'll find that price all across every book pretty much. 12-1 is a great price for Blaney. He's one of the best super speedway drivers on the circuit right now. He has 3 wins at these tracks to his name in a relatively short career. So he should be one of the favorites. And of course, the books are pricing him as such. He's one of the best bets that you can make for this weekend's race. I'm usually going to pick Fords when we're at Daytona, but I'm going to make one exception for a Chevy driver, Ross Chastain. You're going to want to shop around for this. DraftKings is pretty smart with this line at 16-1, but you can find it at 20-1 at other places because the books know, or at least some of them do, that Ross Chastain is one of the few Chevy drivers who can upset the Fords and get a win this weekend. He has a great super speedway record for Trackhouse Racing. Last year, he ran 6 races. He crashed out at Daytona twice, but in the other 4 races, he scored a win and 4 top 5. So outside of Daytona, he had a 100% top 5 rate at super speedway tracks. That's really impressive. He's yet to win at Daytona in his Cup Series career, but he's no stranger to victory lane at this track. He actually won an Xfinity Series race here for Colleague a few years ago. So Ross Chastain is one of the best bets for this weekend as well. Everyone knows him as the driver who sent the Hail Melon at Martinsville last year, where he pulled the video game move to go around the track and keep his championship hopes alive. But he's actually a really talented super speedway driver too. So he's going to be someone you want to have on your betting. I also want to talk a little bit about Odd Shopper Insider Access. So all these bets that I'm touting, the Blaney pick, the Chastain pick, all of the members of Odd Shopper Insider Access were able to view these earlier in the week than if you're just getting this pick off the video. So you can gain access to all of our betting experts, not just me, the NASCAR guy. In our premium Discord, you'll get picks in real time, like live bets. You'll get access to office hours. You'll get access to my betting models. I don't just model NASCAR. I also model the NFL. And you can get your first week of access for 50% off. And then it's just $9.95 after that. So it's a pretty reasonable price. You get access to a lot of touts. You get access directly to them, so you can give them, you can ask questions and figure out their angles for certain games much faster than if you're just following along with our Twitters and YouTube channel. And the last pick I want to talk about for the Daytona 500 is going to be Harrison Burton. Harrison Burton is another Ford driver. He races for Wood Brothers Racing. Wood Brothers Racing is functionally a wing of Team Penske, yet Burton's odds are all the way down at 50-1, which doesn't really make sense given the quality of equipment he's driving. We've seen the Fords do well. at the super speedway track at Daytona in the dual races just last night. We know that they're going to be fast on Sunday. Getting Harrison Burton at 50-1 is kind of like stealing to me, because there's no way this line should be shorter than 30-1, especially when you look at the other drivers like Chase Briscoe and Austin Dillon in the 30-1 range. So the other thing to know about Harrison Burton is that he has a great Xfinity Series record, specifically at Daytona. In 4 races, he scored 3 top 5s and 4 top 10s. Although he couldn't bring home a win in any of those starts, he did run up front consistently. So I think he's a relatively safe bet at a super speedway track. He got really unlucky last year and crashed out a few too many times. But as long as he can keep his car clean and avoid getting stuck in the scrum of the draft early, I think he's a really great bet at 50-1 odds to win the Daytona 500. All right, awesome. So let's break down what we talked about. So we have 3 bets for this year's Daytona 500. We're going to take Ryan Blaney at 12-1. We're going to take Ross Chastain, not at 16-1. You can find a better price somewhere else. Caesars has him at 20-1 right now. And we're going to throw in Harrison Burton as our kind of long shot at 50-1. We've got 2 Ford drivers. We know Ford's going to dominate this race. We've got 1 Chevy driver who can work his way up at the end. It'll be a kind of chaotic scenario if he wins this race because he won't have a ton of drafting help. But it's Daytona. Anything can happen. So those are our top picks. Now, if you're smart, you'll sign up at DraftKings. You'll place your first $5 moneyline wager on Kent State moneyline tonight. Once they win, you'll get $150 back in bonus bets to spend on this weekend's action at Daytona. So you can bet on Blaney, Chastain, and Burton with that money, and you haven't really risked anything. You could have also gotten access to these picks a little bit earlier if you were a subscriber to OddsShopper Insider Access. It's a great deal. You can get your first week 50% off. You'll get access to all of our touts' picks before the YouTube videos go up and before our articles get posted online. I'm Isaiah. I'll be here every week to break down the NASCAR races. We'll be at Auto Club next week, and I'm looking forward to that one. We almost hit some long shots there last year. Please leave a like if you found this content useful. Give us a subscribe so that way we can, or you can see our content next week, and I'll be back then.